Welcome to Orion Today. I'm your host, Gabriel Velez, and today I got two very special guests, Tony Merlo and Ben Benson.
How's it going, man?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having us out.
So tell me, what's the name of your project?
Well, our group is called Benton Street, which is kind of a fun play on names. So this is my friend Ben Benson, and his name Ben, and my name Tony. And so we, naming things is always a challenge, but we just thought Benton was cool. And then Street is fun because the street kind of has to do with the songs we write. It's like each song is sort of a different street, and that gives us an opportunity to sort of do different things with our work and stuff like that. So we call ourselves Benton Street, and so far it's working out.
Nice. So the songs is like they have a mood and they kind of take you down this lane and you go down on a stroll, huh?
You get it, Gabe. That's exactly right.
Great, great. So tell me, how did you guys got your start, your collaboration?
It's interesting because I met Tony when I was in my 50s. He was in his 40s, or just turning 40, I should say, buddy. And I had an engineer on a project, and the gentleman turned out to also be Tony's producer. He said, here's one fellow who likes to write, and here's another who likes to play guitar. You both do a little bit of the other, but you'd be a good duo. So we were kind of paired together. We used to call it like a dating service, a matchmaker, and our producer put us together, and we've been very comfortable. About 3 years and a month that we've been at it now.
Great. So I understand that you have some songs for us. I'm excited to hear it. Let's hear him.
We're excited to play.
Sure.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks, everyone. The first song that we have is one, and in this process, I started it because it was something I read back in the 1970s. It was a poem, and it was in a poetry magazine, and it said a Native American chant for hunting that was called "I Rise," and the chant goes something like this: I rise, I in whose hoofs the earth rumbles, I in whose thighs there is strength, I who whips his back with his tail when in rage, I in whose wide shoulders there is power, I who shakes his mane when angered, I whose horns are sharp and curved. I rise. And we kind of built on that idea of Mother Earth and Father Sky and said, what would a song sound like if it went with that? And that's what we have here for you. It's called I Rise. Mother Earth, Father Sky, help my tired spirit rise. Take me on the path that's best. Lead me to your wilderness. Show me places, show me faces. Fill my soul with open spaces. I know take me there, hear my echo, hear my prayer. The road takes me a world apart to wonders most will never know, like a songbird come and go. Oh, 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 I rise, I rise, I rise. Oh, oh, oh. I rise. You've awakened my wandering heart. The road takes me a world apart to wonders most will never know. Like a songbird, come and go. Oh, 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 I rise, I rise, I rise. Oh, I rise, I rise, I rise. Mother Earth, Father Sky, you take my spirit soaring high. You take me dancing, my life you raise. Hear my echo, hear my praise. Oh, I rise, I rise, I rise. I rise, I rise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, guys, that was really moving. And I've heard you play before. We've been friends for a long time. Ben, I never heard your voice. That was beautiful. That was truly moving.
Thank you, Gabe.
Appreciate that. Really appreciate that.
Yes. Do you have another one for us?
We do.
We do, and we kind of took it from one end to the other. In I Rise, it was sort of poetic and spiritual and all that, and that's fun. But it's fun to kind of get the crowd moving when you're doing an open mic in a bar. And this is the song we use for that. This one's called Paradise.
Great. Thank you.
And Paradise has been a popular song for us. Just a quick story. We had two people come up and say, "Did you guys bring any CDs with you? Because I'd like to get a copy of that song." And that's the one and only time that occurred. So we said, this is one we better keep in our repertoire. And we always get a good feeling when we play it. So it's called Paradise. I was in Hawaii, sipping on papaya and some other things, just seeing what the day would bring. But it was apparent you were on an errand without me. There was no paradise. Only you can be my paradise. Take something so perfect, so nice. Sometimes I sleep in just to watch you wake up. Sometimes I stay home just to let you in. Sometimes I text you from the other room. I don't need anything, I just need you. I just need you. How about that? Put on your little black dress. You know the one. You know the one that I love the best. Tell me, would it be appropriate if I were your valet just to show up? Every time I fall back, in your arms. Go ahead and break my heart, I'll get another one.
something about you. Hey, something about you. Take a selfie, send it to me. Sends a shiver right through me. It's kinda sad, but true to say. Well, you're the best part of my day, and yesterday, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. Sometimes I sleep in just to watch you wake up. Sometimes I stay home just to lay you in. Sometimes I text you from the other room. I don't need anything, I just need you. 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 Hey, hey.
That was great. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you
gracing
very
us
much.
with your
Appreciate that.
presence.
Thank you.
And that was
Thank you
awesome.
very much for having us. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And we'll be back with Orion Today.
Breaker 19, Breaker 19, you got your ears on? Put the hammer down and come on out to Orion Township's 15th annual Big Rig Gig on August 3rd, beginning at 5 p.m. at Friendship Park. Load up the family and explore dozens of trucks, tractors, diggers, dozers, bucket trucks, backloaders, and emergency vehicles of all shapes and sizes. Come early, stay late, and don't forget the Kodak camera. For more information, visit OrionParks.com. Keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down, and I'm gone.
Welcome back to Orion Today. Today, I'm your host, Gabriel Velez, and I got a very special guest with me. My guest today is Lisa Barry. Lisa is the founder of New Ark Ministries, and you're a psychic for pets and people.
I am, both.
Lisa, you have this unique ability to access infinite intelligence, and you have made yourself available to the public, working with the public. So I have a few questions for you about why this work is important to you, why you have chosen to share your gift with the world. And I use the word psychic, and I know that that's not your preferred word.
Correct.
Why don't we define what's the difference between a psychic and a fortune teller?
Right, you've asked a lot, and I think I can answer all of that, so I appreciate that. First of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate being in Lake Orion and on the show. The thing I want to say too is, first is that you asked me, why it's important. Over the course of my life, a lot of years so far, and I'm blessed, is that I have found that animals are trying to take on illnesses for people. Doctors are saying it's impossible. Keep in mind that science is now saying that they can denote diabetes and cancer, and what I'm telling you is that animals will tell me this before the person has it, if the person has it, how to get rid of it without any product whatsoever. That's a mouthful, but let's set that aside for a minute. Second of all, it's the importance is that we save the lives of animals and people. As far as psychic and fortune teller, a psychic is a layman's term, believe it or not, for a prophet. The churches, several churches label me prophet. I can't do that for myself. It's pretty heavy hitting. Psychic is a person who can see the future. I want to give a little warning here. Psychics can be very accurate, but what they can tell you is things you know. What I would expect you to do when you see one, if you see one, is to find out something you don't know. What can they see that's coming, good or bad? And if it's bad, they should be able to tell you how to stop it. They shouldn't lure you in. That's what fortune tellers do. They lure you in and say you've got a curse or some big disease, and they can sell you a product, a candle. I'm going to tell a person, if I'm doing a reading, I'm going to say at that end of the reading, if you have any questions on the reading or something I've said or something you wished you would have asked, you can call me in the next 2 weeks. absolutely for free. You call me till you get me, because I'm not chasing anybody to do a free reading. But we can solve the problem that we see. And if I see opportunities for someone, something that's good, you don't have to chase it. I'm very careful about naming exact people for boyfriends or girlfriends or mates, specific job titles, because I can do that. Most people will go looking for it. But I'm telling you, everything you do in your life sets up your future. If I see something that you've set up that is negative, we can change that in the moment. And I'll describe that after that video you were talking about.
So just by virtue of being aware of it,
Right.
we can change things about the future.
100%. Fortune tellers are frauds, scammers, and thieves. Psychics are gifted, but they should know something you don't know. Please don't waste your money.
So-
You can be impressed that they know something. But if they can tell you the names of your children, what does that do for you? Except for say, yeah, they're pretty good.
So the fortune teller basically tells you some things that you already know. It makes you feel fuzzy inside.
Fortune tellers won't do that. You know, they'll lead you astray. People know. I mean, if they're going to say you're cursed, get up and get out. If a psychic says you've got some sort of problem, if they can't tell you how to solve it, by the way, God is the answer. I'm not pushing religion, I'm pushing faith. And that can come out in some of the examples I've got for you.
So you're a Christian, though.
I 100%.
And
I'm not talking religion, I'm talking faith. There's a difference. The churches, there are several churches, like I said, that label me prophet. The Lapeer Immaculate Conception, Father Terrian calls me an animal whisperer. Stacy Salas, priest in Romeo, or was in Romeo Episcopal Church, calls me a prophet. And then the Life Worship and Training Center, Bishop Rejoice, label me a prophetess. Those are nice, but they have to explain to somebody what I'm doing. If you look in the dictionary, all of them are lumped together.
I see. So I've used your services before, and I can say you're the real thing. You have really helped me throughout that path to stay in my spiritual path. I truly appreciate your ability, and I appreciate you working with people. Now, a lot of people don't know that you were recruited for your own reality TV show.
I have been, and it's in the works as well.
So there's a short video that we want to show that I think is going to help clarify some of the work that you do and why it's important.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, let's go to that video.
My name is Lisa Barry. I am known as a animal communicator. People call it pet psychic. I've heard the voices of animals my whole life and never realized that other people just weren't doing it. Animals know that I am willing to say whatever they tell me. They've never lied to me. The difference between me and any other reader that I've ever heard about or met is I would get information, heavy-hitting information. Somebody's is 2 weeks to live. And I'm thinking, you cannot tell me that somebody's going to die and there's nothing we can do about it. If a kid is going to run out in front of a car, tell me the color of the car, tell me the street, tell me the day, tell me the time of year. You tell me when this is going to happen and we're going to stop it. So I get information that most readers will never get. Every behavior and every illness is a message. The more domesticated they become, the more they want to help the human. Why are animals misbehaving? Why are people suffering? Is that it's all a message. And when I see an animal and I talk to an animal, they are trying to save the world and it's not their job. It always, always, always relays to a human in the household or someone they know and love. That's what the animal will tell me. The thing is I don't stop the behavior. The behavior stops when the message is revealed. The gentleman I was reading, but he wanted this cat to have a beautiful life of its own and be cared for by another owner. And when it went to this other person's house, the cat was urinating all over the house. I said, well, he doesn't want to live there. He wants to come back and live with you. And he said, if he comes back and lives with you, will he stop doing that? I said, absolutely. This gentleman called me and said, I thought you said that cat would stop pissing all over the house. And so I looked into it. The cat's name was Blueberry. I say, Blueberry says that you have someone in your household, in your family, has 2 weeks to live and you know it. And he says, oh yeah, my brother. My brother was told he has 2 weeks to live. I said, your cat is telling you your brother's dying. Go talk to him. I said, the only reason you're not talking to him is because you think he could have saved his own life. And he said, you're right. I said, this is no time to argue. He's leaving. So he went to talk with his brother and the cat stopped peeing all over the house. And the easiest one to look into and reveal what the problem is and why it's happening is breast cancer. I can guarantee 100% of the time that I can tell you why they have it, where it came from, probably where it started, and that person, based on my history, heals. It looks like a miracle, but I can guarantee you if I discover what I call the hot point, the message doesn't have to be told anymore. I call that a guarantee. People will call that a miracle. My fondness for people isn't really high up. It's the animals that I care about. I mean, who's got what it takes to say, by the way, your cat says you're dying?
Okay, so we're back. So you had a comment about the video.
I did. The ending of that video is hard hitting, and I want to reaffirm that anything we see can be changed. So one quick example, we have a gentleman here with a dog that's sleeping and waiting for me to chat with it. There was a woman that brought her cat. She didn't know what I could do. I told her the cat had a kidney disease, that the cat was trying to save her life, that she had a terminal kidney disease and she knew it. And she said yes, and I told her she would heal in 8 months or less, and she in fact did, and so did the cat. So I want to reaffirm that we can do that. And I think we have a surprise here.
Yeah, so we got Roxy, that is Tony's dog, and we're going to do a very short reading.
When I talk with an animal, it does not have to be present. I want to reaffirm that. I can say that Roxy is a very jealous dog, but the first thing she tells me is that she's lost the love of her life. And so we're talking about a first owner and or another dog, and Tony has affirmed that it is the first owner. Roxy has already told me that she's 5 years old, so this little lady is lying about her age. She's 8 years old. She is also telling me that this man right here has a girlfriend and they need to solidify this relationship a little more than they're doing. Put a ring on that thing is what we're saying.
Interesting, Roxy.
Fess up. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. But she is very happy with her home. Pretty big information.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for bringing Roxy, Tony, and participating in the reading. And we'll see you again here at Orion Today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tony.
Hey, it's ONTV here. Now, have you ever had the urge to create your own TV show? Or just wanted to see what goes behind the scenes of making one? Well, we have just the program for you. ONTV offers production classes, which allow you to take control and create the programs you want them to be. To get started, all you have to do is sign up for a free orientation, and then register for one of our production courses. For more information, feel free to call us at 248-393-1060, or go to orionontv.org and click Register Now to sign up for classes. We hope to see you soon.
Hello and welcome to Orion Today. I'm your host, Art Serpernat, and I'm here this evening with Peggy Barry-Bartz, who is a professional seamstress. She's going to demonstrate how to sew a button on. Seems like a simple thing, but in researching this show, I discovered an unreal number of people that said, "Oh, I lose a button, I throw it away." Peggy, go ahead, tell us what you're doing and save us some money.
Okay, you are absolutely right. So many people have said, "Oh, I just throw things away." So we're going to show you 3 different kinds of buttons, 3 different easy ways. The most important thing is start sewing before you put the button together. So this is a 2-hole button. I know it's clear. Punch the hole first. Find the hole in the button. Almost all the buttons are standard size distance, so it is not a very difficult proposition. And of course I tangled my thread, but that's not a problem.
Quick question.
Yes.
Did you tie a knot at the end of that string?
Yes, I did. Always tie a knot. It's a sailor trick. So you basically go up and around. You have to kind of refine. Now see, I'm using wonderful colored thread so I can see what I'm doing. The trick is to hold the button still so that it doesn't move. And sometimes you just have to cheat a little. Believe it or not, I have double thread, 2 pieces of thread, and if you loop it around 3 times, that's 6 pieces of thread. That'll hold just about anything. On the other side, you do not have to tie a knot. You just make tiny little stitches, pull it tight, and voila, your button is back on.
Quick, easy.
Okay, now, that's as simple like a shirt button. If you have a thicker fabric, it's a little trickier. I'm going to use purple thread on this one. You have to leave a little bit of space between the button and the fabric. And I'll show you how to do that. Again, punch the hole first. Right, because you have a thickness that you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So this time, it's not going to be pulled tight like the other button was. We're going to leave a little bit of give in there. Okay, so I'm not pulling very tight. It's kind of loose. You can cheat and put a nail or something to hold up the button, and you just do not pull it tight. Again, the tricky part is, I must tell you, sewing buttons is a pain in the neck. It really is, even for me, who does this all the time. And you don't want your thread to tangle, and I'll show you how not to do that. You have to, negotiate where that hole might be. Again, we're already on the third one. I'm not pulling very tight at all. And I actually brought a buttonhole so I can show you that. Okay, back through. Okay, now I have to go find the other one. So I'm cheating. I'm looking through the bottom.
Does that help you give it a little slack you wanted in there?
Yes. You just have to not pull very tight because you need very loose tension is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So see, I can pull this button up and you can see the little bit of thread. See the little thread?
Sure. You need clearance for the other piece of fabric. That makes sense.
Exactly. That's called a thread shank. And there are buttons that have shank. I'll show you that in a second. There's the second one through. And believe it or not, it's sort of intuitive where you know where that extra hole is. And you can peek and look, and it works. And we're already done, Art.
It was that quick, just
that fast.
4 times around.
Yep, I did
Wow.
3. Now, I brought a pretend buttonhole, and you'll see this is kind of thick. Now you don't have, if you did it too tight, this would buckle.
Mm-hmm.
So you have some play in there, and you have the space. There we go. Number
it's
2.
Fascinating.
How about that?
And a
number
simple thing.
3, yes, is the one with a little tiny, if you can see, there's a little tiny hole. It's like a little bridge.
Like a ring or a hook, yeah.
Yeah. So that one's a little trickier because you have to keep checking. So I brought a piece of fleece, a nice bright thread. Again, hole goes in the fabric first. Thread through. And then here you have, it's through the shank. So you could play with it.
Yeah.
Then you push the fabric. You can leave the button upside down. Push the other side through. Okay. Now this, instead of a thread shank, you actually have the plastic shank or whatever your button is made out of. Believe it or not, there's a woman in Oxford. She's a button collector. She has over 1 million buttons.
Wow.
I know. That'd be too many buttons to sew on.
And the point is just that she's button crazy?
She traded all her buttons for a car once.
I guess
I
that's
know,
not too
is that
crazy,
amazing?
is it?
There'd be too many small things to lose. This is the hardest button to sew on because you have to find that little bridge. And you can see I'm struggling, but there it is. So my favorite way to sew a button is get a cup of coffee or a cup of your favorite beverage, take a sip.
Preferably not alcoholic.
Right, because then you'll get dizzy or whatever, and the button might come up upside down. Anyway, sew a button, take a sip. Coffee, your favorite lemonade in the summer, all those good things. Okay, and believe it or not, we are done. 3 buttons in maybe 3 minutes.
You made a relatively, what sounds like a hard project into a very simple thing.
Yes, it's very fun. Or call your girlfriends on the phone or your gal pals and talk while you're sewing buttons. There you go. 1, 2, 3, done.
Wow. And it's so simple, and yet I actually ran into
Don't
people
throw
want
your
to
clothes
throw
out.
their clothes away.
No!
Peggy, thank you. And this is the final episode. We're going to call this one, So What? And thanks everybody. Thanks our crew. Thanks all the people that watched. Come on back to Orion TV next chance you get, and enjoy Orion Today. Bye-bye now.